Hello, Suns fans. This is Suns latest. I am Rich Rubin. Way too much to cover today because we have an amazing quote from, boy, I'm not going to say he's my favorite player of all time, but he's easily top five, and he's also a top five player of all time. And if you argue with that, good for you. Quote of the day. This quote from a guy who looked at his opponents in the locker room before the NBA three-point contest and asked them, quote, who's coming in second? Yes, it's from Larry Bird. It's a very famous quote, and as funny and as cocky as that quote is, it relates to another Larry Bird quote where he said, "quote." I like to say the word "quote," don't I? I knew I was as good as anybody. That's not really bragging. It's just that I put the time in. End quote. Now that is my favorite Larry Bird quote because at least once in everyone's life, we know that we put the work in, and the situation comes up and it clicks in your brain, and it's like, oh, this is why I did all that, and you succeed, or you beat somebody at their own game, or you get into that flow state, which is very rare. But flow state doesn't happen. Flow state is earned, and flow state comes from putting the time in. And we've had that moment, and it's a very special thing, and we never forget it. And I think the point of life is to live for those moments and to keep continuing to work to get to those moments. Other than having the good luck of being 6'9", Larry Bird didn't look like he'd have much else to offer as a basketball player. Maybe a banger, maybe a seventh or eighth guy who came in and got garbage minutes, but no one thought Larry Bird was going to be as good as he was. No one thought that. You didn't think that. I didn't think that. Even after I saw it, I was like, did that guy just do that? Yeah, that guy did. Even after all he did at Indiana State, no one thought he would be as good as he was, except him and Red Auerbach. As much as I don't like Red Auerbach, the guy knew basketball better than most. During preseason in his rookie year, Cedric Maxwell and other veteran Celtics dismissed him, and they clowned him, and they pushed him, and they tried to bully him until he destroyed all of them in the very first practice and took over the team by the second practice. For me, Larry Bird is a perfect example of putting in the time and staying focused. If you got a quote, hit me up in the comments and just let me know. And then you guys have been sending some really good quotes, so thank you. Some news for you. Fan Fest is tomorrow, Saturday, Phoenix Arena. It is free. Meet the Suns. I have said it before, and I really do believe that a lot of the Suns are going to be there, if not the entire team. I would really be surprised if Devin Booker isn't there. It's a Fan Fest. He's the face of the team. There are some new faces, but he's the guy that people are going to see. There's a contest to win season tickets. There might be more than one chance to win season tickets. Are you kidding me? Giveaways, photo booth. This is tomorrow, 4 p.m., Phoenix, Arizona. The Suns preseason is starting up very, very quickly. A week from today, October 3rd in Palm Desert, California. It's near Palm Springs against the Lakers. Suns kick off the regular season Wednesday, October 22nd in Phoenix against the Sacramento Kings. Quick follow-up to yesterday's Suns latest regarding Mark Williams. He's not the most talkative guy, but this is kind of cool. He did post on Twitter regarding the Hornets trading him 2 times in a span of 3 or 4 months last year, saying, quote, to be where you're wanted is always great. So to be here in Phoenix, it's exciting. Once you traded me the first time, it was only a matter of time before I was gone. I just plan on making them regret the decision every time I step on the floor, end quote. Now that is the attitude we need from the incoming Suns players. That's a very good attitude to have. Speaking of attitude, I'd like to talk to you about Dillon Brooks. It's kind of interesting since Brooks isn't what you call a dynamic offensive player. He has a reputation. He's Dillon Brooks. We all know what he does. We all know what he's capable of. He's the guy who you can't stand when he's on the other team. He's the guy who you love when he's on your team, and his teammates say that about him as well. Dillon Brooks is another guy that is bringing a specific type of attitude to this young Suns team that doesn't technically have an identity yet. Other than people know that Devin Booker is great. What is this team? We don't know. But Mark Williams saying that about wanting to rub it in the Hornets' face, and Dillon Brooks being Dillon Brooks, it's a pretty good start. Dillon Brooks brings a much-needed attitude and swagger and heart and hustle and defense to this Suns team. The Suns sucked on the defensive end last year, one of the lowest-rated defensive teams in every category. That will change, and that can change, and that has changed because of one player. Dillon Brooks is that guy. I'm not anointing him anything. I'm just saying he's going to play his game, and you can either join him or you can watch him do it all by himself. But you're not going to deter this guy. Defensive-minded coach in Jordan Ott as well, is going to let Dillon Brooks be Dillon Brooks, and that's very important for this year. Brooks called Booker the other day, the day that the KD trade went down. Booker said, quote, "That whole reputation is take away from the type of player he is," end quote. Pretty high praise from Devin Booker for your new teammate. Brooks has a legit work ethic, crazy energy. He is disciplined. He will be a huge part of setting the tone for us this year. During this past Suns Media Day, Brooks was quoted saying, "If you meet me, you'll like me. If you play against me, you don't." And that's the way I like it. I am looking forward to seeing Devin Booker and Dillon Brooks on the court at the same time. I have a feeling they're going to play off each other pretty dang well, and I'm very excited for it. These are a couple of good things that you should get ready for this upcoming Sun season, because we don't have a ton, but we have a couple of really cool things, and that's one of them regarding Dillon Brooks. Your comments. We're going to start off with my superior-minded Suns fan, Curious Mind 2525. Hello, sir. My impression of Suns Media Day is positive. We just had Suns Media Day. All the interviews are up at Suns.com. Leander and Chambers, the two Toms, did an amazing job with all the players. I especially like the Jalen Green interview. Jalen Green is kind of shy, kind of soft-spoken, kind of reserved. I have a feeling he and the rest of these young players are going to let their talking be heard while they play, as they play. I think they're going to put their money where their mouth is as best they can. I'm not saying they're going to destroy anybody. I have a feeling they're all coming into this with something to prove. Curious Mind 2525. Positive Media Day impression. My key takeaway was the consistent answer about team building. Most players commented on the coaching staff being available at the training facility all summer at what appeared to be all hours. It's a relatively new coaching staff, got a lot of new faces. The amount of work done by players during the summer, the time spent together away from the court, and the obvious physical conditioning of all the players. I have a feeling that's going to be a huge part of this team. If we can't beat you, if we're not as good as you, maybe we'll run you to death. It works. Booker remembers the effect the bubble had on team building back in 2020. Booker looks serious, especially when he is asked by Chambers and Leander if he was happy to have Dillon Brooks to help fend off physical players. Booker responded, "Yes, but I may be the one backing and pushing for Brooks," end quote. A lot of people have said Devin Booker looks like not happy or preoccupied. Good. I don't want Book happy. I want him preoccupied with kicking the crap out of anybody who tries to get in his way this year. I want Booker to be all world. I want him to be top 5, arguably. I want him to rank higher than SGA. SGA is technically a point. I want him to rank higher than Anthony Edwards as the best shooting guard in the league, and absolutely he can get there. Quote from @JoeyTremendous6885. Dick Van Arsdale was a dog on defense. So good. Yep. Hustle defined. We had Dick Van Arsdale as our legend of the day. We're doing the top 15. Remember how we made the list of the top 15 Suns? No, where were you all summer? Dick Van Arsdale came in at number 15, and we're going to go down that list doing the legend of the day. And I told you to remember that Tom Chambers is coming up today. Van Arsdale 100% deserves to be in the top 15. At Andrew W. Ruiz 9803. Hello, Mr. Ruiz. Watching Devin Booker during Suns Media Day, and a lot of fans are saying he doesn't look particularly happy. No, he doesn't. Seems like you had to pull the smile out of him, because Booker's usually in a pretty good mood. I don't think he's in a pretty good mood anymore. Well, I'm hoping that he's just locked in. Hopefully, he does got a chip on his shoulder. I'm hoping he gets back to being the Book from before KD, back when nobody expected anything from the Suns. Excited to see what he's got. I believe in him, and that he's not giving up on us like a lot of lesser fans seem to think. Okay, let's not trash the fans who are sick of the same old thing. They have a right to be skeptical about what Devin Booker is going to do, because I'm not saying he checked out, but he definitely took a back seat, and I think that was kind of how it had to be when you have a guy like Kevin Durant on your team. But that's not the player he is. So I'm right there with you. Not a ton of comments today, and that's okay. We have to get to our Suns legend of the day, and that would be Tom Chambers, who came in number 14 on the top 15 that we all decided were going to be the top 15 Suns of all time. So Tom Chambers, who's all over Suns Media Day, he was doing all the interviews with the players, so very present. Still very much involved with the Suns. So here's a brief rundown on Chambers on the Suns from 88 to 93. His last game was Game 6 of the NBA Finals against the Bulls that we lost. That was his last game as the Sun. He kind of quietly went away after that. I thought it was odd, but he wasn't. I think he had some horrible hamstring issues that the Suns didn't make very. They didn't give a whole lot of information on them as they were happening. And I think they were dogging him after a while, and I think that's why he became a sixth man and saw limited playing time near the end of his son's career. Three-time All-Star with the Suns. Two-time All-NBA second team with the Suns. Number 24 retired by the Suns. Ring of Honor with the Suns. 25.7 points per game in 88-89. Put a pin in this. 27.2 points per game the next year. Just remember that stat because we're going to come back to it. Chambers was unstoppable. He dunked on everyone's head. In 1990, Chambers set a then Suns single-game scoring record with over 60 over his former team, the Supersonics. Always felt that they could have utilized him more. The KJ Barkley-Marley trio was something you didn't mess with. I understand they kind of found a rhythm. And as I said, maybe Chambers wasn't really up to it at that point. Maybe the injuries really had caught up with him. There's two different schools of thought on that. I just thought that, I don't know. I mean, I get him coming off the bench. He just wasn't really used to that at that point in his career. So it might have been confusing for everybody. Chambers went on to contribute to the Sixers, played for the Hornets, played overseas, and then he also played for the Jazz. And he teamed up again with Hornacek and did really well with the Jazz. Played 16 NBA seasons, over 20,000 points. Here's a really weird stat. Chambers, Antoine Jamison, former Suns Joe Johnson, all eligible for the Basketball Hall of Fame. The only guys in NBA history with over 20,000 points who are not in the Hall of Fame. But Chambers was the very first Sun to be inducted into the Suns Ring of Honor in 99. Now, when Chambers and KJ teamed up, 88-89, it was clear that the Suns, they had something very special along with Coach Cotton and eventually Marley. They revived a team coming off a very sad and embarrassing time. That was the Jay Humphreys, James Edwards, Johnny High, Walter Davis drug scandal. Walter Davis called out teammates and wasn't renewed. Johnny High died in a car crash, and it was kind of not spoken about. It happened during all of this. James Edwards, gone. Jay Humphreys, pretty good point guard, gone. And it was a really sad time in Suns history. That was the year that my dad said, "I'm not buying season tickets anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. This is just complete BS." And as a heartbroken kid who knew he wasn't going to get to go Suns games anymore, privileged as well to be able to go to Suns games in the first place, I understood, and I didn't have a problem with it. We'd hit a game every now and then after that. But Chambers and KJ teaming up got a lot of people back on track and said, you know what? That's over. We're doing this now. Chambers was a huge free agent signing. We all know he could score, but now he was the main option. 100% ran with it. Green light from Coach Cotton. KJ was a phenomenal setup man for Tom Chambers. He was our best player. He was our clutch, our go-to guy. He did not disappoint. Tom Chambers was a very, very special Phoenix Suns player. And a huge correction I have to make. Huge correction. I completely screwed up and got this wrong, and I had been saying it in defense of Kevin Durant. I don't know what got into me. I should have looked it up. It's a minor mistake, and it's also a huge mistake. I had been saying that Kevin Durant last year had the highest points per game average in the history of the Phoenix Suns at 27.1 points per game. I wasn't completely wrong, but technically I was. Tom Chambers, 27.2 in 89-90. So it's a .0001. I get it. But no, Tom Chambers, highest single season scoring average in Phoenix Suns history. I'm trying to remember if he was third or fourth overall in the league in scoring that year. Once you get to 27, it's usually, there's barely anybody that gets over that as a point for the average for the year. Tom Chambers did that. 14th greatest Sun of all time. And Tom Chambers is your Phoenix Suns legend of the day. We're going to do number 13 tomorrow. Who is that? We're going to go back to Alvin Adams, who is on the Supreme Court poster. This one. Where is Alvin Adams? Doing it in reverse. Alvin Adams on the Nike Supreme Court posters. He will be your Suns legend of the day tomorrow. This has been Suns Latest. Keep commenting. Keep telling your buddies to subscribe. The Sun season is coming right up. I am Rich Rubin. Thank you for watching.